Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Simplex-IT's monthly Office webinar. This time we're actually going to be talking about the new product, Office 2016, which was released last month. And this is not to be confused with the Mac Office 2016, which was also released but a few months earlier. This is the Windows version. And this is Bob Coppedge here, and CEO, Grand Poobah of Simplex-IT. Patti Smerk will be actually the one talking about the product, so she's the one who knows what she's talking about. As always, we mute the microphones, but we also pay very close attention to the chat. So if you do have questions, we absolutely welcome them and suggest you put that in the conversation window. So, Patti, can you move on? Yay, this is our NASCAR slide. We show all of the wonderful things and blah, blah, blah. And Courtney, Office 2016 is absolutely, it does not require 365. There's some benefits from 365, which we'll get into. But no, it's you can get it normally like other versions of Office. So these are all the NASCAR slides we have that shows you how wonderful we are. Okay, next slide. And essentially, Simplex-IT, for those of you who are not aware, we are a managed service provider. We handle all of the IT for small, medium businesses, both throughout Northeast Ohio. We're actually down Florida, Michigan, Carolinas, all over the place. So we look to work and partner with companies that either have no IT department or have some IT department that needs some assistance. Okay. And boy, we got stuff going on. So what we've got is actually got a couple speaking engagements coming up. We're going to be doing at the Cozy Show, Business Software Trends. I'll be speaking on that with tools. Patty's going to be back online next week with Project Online Basics. October 28th is actually our first field trip. And Courtney, this might be of interest to you. And what will happen is that we're actually going to be going to the Microsoft store in Beechwood. And specifically, this is not going to be just a dog and pony thing. This is specifically going to be talking about the whole Microsoft experience, how all these technologies, 365, Office, Windows 10, Xbox, how these things actually work together. And so this should be good. It's kind of a replacement for our lunch and hour. Notice it's not on the third Wednesday, it's Wednesday afterwards. And then we'll be back, or Patti will be back in November with Word 2016 tips and tricks. And then what's new in Project 2016. Yes, the 2016 version is out. And also we'll probably have a webinar dealing with business continuity, although we haven't gotten all that stuff down yet. So cool. Look for those topics that are going on. And once again, our new website. And part of the thing of the website is a work in progress. We're still going to be adding stuff. One of the big things about the website, though, is you're going to see a lot more information on the blog. The blog has more articles, both by us and by some of our partners, so there's more information coming back there. Again, our blog articles are aimed at informing people, educating people, not selling people. So hopefully that's useful. Okay? And Jay, no, I was going to say, I see your comment, but you can't hear me, so. Two other programs that we have, Simplex PM, which is project management. And this is, again, companies and organizations have trouble implementing a good, strong project management methodology. Patti and the rest of us at Simplex-IT, we put together this program, Simplex PM. It is aimed at small, medium businesses. And there are some great tools, Project Online being some of them. There's some new ones that are coming down the pipe in the next couple of months that we're excited about. That's available to you. Also, Simplex DBA, which Doug Tombo heads up. That's to help companies who have corporate data needs, primarily a focus in SQL, but in other areas as well, to really help get the best benefit, health, and security out of their corporate data. So those two programs are available as well. Okay. And I'm going to shut up. Patti?
Excuse me. Thanks, Bob. I should have had a better transition slide there, but I guess I was anxious to get started. So thanks, Bob, and hello, everyone. It's great to see such a great turnout. Today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the basics, some of the new features of Office 2016. And then in future months, I'm actually going to go through each one of the products and talk about some of the new features of each product individually. So we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive. Like Bob mentioned earlier, next month we'll do Office 2016. I haven't decided what the next one will be. Maybe Outlook, I'm thinking, or Excel. So we'll see. And then, like I said, we'll just go through each one. So maybe Outlook next month, Excel the following month. We'll do PowerPoint and just talk a little bit about some of the new features of each one. A lot of them are across multiple products. So like, for example, this collaboration one that we'll talk about right now, you may be able to use this in Word, you may be able to use it in PowerPoint. So some of it you'll see across the products. So we'll touch on some of the new features of 2016 now, but keep in mind we'll go in a little bit deeper into each product in future months. So the first one that I wanted to talk about is the collaboration feature of 2016. And you can use this with Office 365 as well. If you've used Google Docs at all, it's very similar to Google Docs, where you can see the changes that other people are making in real time. I compare it to screen sharing. But there's no additional tools that you need. You don't have to spin up a Skype call and do a screen share or a link call or anything like that. As soon as you open up the file, you can see the changes that are being made by other people. So it's really great for collaboration if you're trying to figure out wording in a Word document or something, or just sort of working together on something. Very nice for seeing what other people are doing, seeing their changes without having to save and email file versions back and forth, or like I said, jump on some screen sharing program. If you're not online at the same time, let's say that you're both working on a PowerPoint presentation or a Word document, but you're not both working on it at the same time, that's okay too. If you both make changes to the same thing and you have conflicts, there is a feature that allows you to view the conflicts that you have. So you can see in the screenshot that I have up here on the right, you can choose to keep your changes or the changes that somebody else made. So any conflicts that come up when you're working together, you'll see in the Resolve Conflict screen next time you open it. So really neat feature there. And like I said, similar to Google Docs if you've used Google Docs at all, but much nicer being able to use the features of Word and Excel and PowerPoint and all of our favorite Office products. The other thing that's really nice in 2016 is the version history. So here, just straight from the File menu, you'll notice that there's a new feature right under Save As, and it's History. And here you can see the different versions of your document. So those of you that have used SharePoint in the past, maybe this might look familiar to you, but any changes that were made over time. So if you're working on an Excel spreadsheet and you think, oh, I don't know what I've been thinking the last couple days, but I really want to go back to where I started from Monday morning. That's very easy to do. You can go to the history and you can see your list of versions. And then you can go through those versions and determine which one you want to roll back to. Really, really nice. And that's available in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, some of the other Office products as well. Tell Me is a nice feature. It's kind of a silly little thing, but it's one of those things that's a silly little thing, but it comes in handy when you need it. So Microsoft has changed around, the menus and the ribbons, and that happened a few years ago, but a lot of us have a hard time finding the command that we want or the feature that we want in the ribbon. And I think that's something that Microsoft has figured out. Every time they move things around, it's always harder to find, and especially moving from the menus to the ribbons years ago was a tough move. So Tell Me is really, I think of it as a glorified help system. So here, if I wanted to insert a picture, like in the example on the slide, if I type in insert picture into the Tell Me screen, it drops down not in help where you get the explanation or the steps on how to do that, but it actually drops down with the actual command. So I can go down and I can select insert picture, and my insert picture window pops up. So it's kind of a great shortcut, even if you do know where your commands are, but switching through the tabs might take a long time, or you forgot where something is. You can type in what you want to do, drops down a list of options, and then you can select which one you were looking for. Now, the only downside to this that I found is you have to know what you're what you're looking to do. So sometimes there might be an example of you want to do that one thing, but you don't know the name of it. You want to fill your text box with a color, but you might not know that that means fill. So you have to be careful with what you're searching for in the Tell Me, and then just be creative. If you're not sure, try a few things and see if you can get to that keyword. But it does search on the keyword. So if you type in, put in logo, it might not know that you want to insert a picture of your logo. It is pretty good about picking up different words. So if you put in, insert logo, chances are insert picture would pop up. Or if you put in place picture, it'll probably pop up with picture. So it's pretty good, but not exact. So I just wanted to mention that because it is a little tough. Just like with help, you have to know what you're looking for. And with Tell Me, you have to know what you're looking to do. The new charts, I wanted to put this in here, and this is something that we'll talk about in detail when we talk about Excel 2016. But the new charts are always fun. We always play with charts. We get bored of the typical column, line, bar, and pie charts that we see all the time. So there are some new charts here in Excel: tree map, sunburst, histogram, box and whisker, and waterfall. And you see those highlighted over on the right. So just some new charts. The nice thing is in Excel, when you go to the chart wizard or to the insert chart window, I love how when you select a chart, you get a description of what that chart is best used for. So sometimes we know we want to communicate certain information, but we don't know what the best way to do that is, or the best chart to use for that might be. So when you go to Excel, I love that little description there, which I've placed here on the slides for you. But just a couple new charts that are available in Excel, and I believe PowerPoint as well. Sharing, this sort of goes hand in hand with collaboration that we talked about earlier. With the sharing feature, here you can share your files. You can grant access to your files, review who already has access, and then of course remove access to your files. So if you're working on a document with a group of folks, you can grant them access to your files. You can work on it. You can review changes that each other has made. You can double check, if somebody says, oh, I can't get to your file that you sent me, you can come here and make sure that, it is set up, and maybe it's just a user error. And then when you're all done, you can even remove access to your file, so you don't have to keep this, obviously, all the time. You can invite people. You'll notice that there's a little address book over to the right, and then you can control what type of access they have, if you want it to be read-only or if they can edit it. So it makes it a lot easier for file sharing. Another thing that I like is the screen recording option in PowerPoint. So I know I do this all the time, and maybe you do as well, but for showing demonstrative topics, or if you want to show somebody how to do something, usually there's some other program that you would use. You can record it in some other program, and then save that recording and put it into PowerPoint. Now, right from PowerPoint, you can record what you want and then insert it into your presentation. So if you were doing a presentation on, your new ERP system, and you wanted to show somebody how to add a new record, as you're creating the PowerPoint slide, you can actually go over to your ERP system, do the motions of adding that new record, and then place that video in your PowerPoint presentation for for showing when you actually go through that presentation. So that's really neat, and that's something that we'll do when we talk about the PowerPoint 2016 new features. This is by far my personal favorite. I have used this new feature no less than 100 times in the last couple of days. That might be an exaggeration, but it's so funny, the little things that just make your day. I love the insert recent files in Outlook. So if I am working on a document, let's say in Excel or in Word, and then I want to email somebody about it, when I'm in my new email message, I can click on attach file just like I always have. But now I don't have to remember where I saved it. I don't have to navigate to that folder to find the document that I want to insert. I know that it was the document that I was just working on, or the document that I was working on a couple days ago. Regardless, there's a list of all of my recent items right from the attach file option. So I use this quite a bit. It's really nice, and I'll actually show you how to do that today, but we'll take a deeper dive into that and some of the other new features when we talk a little bit more about Outlook in the next couple of months. The other thing I wanted to mention about inserting recent files is it's not just a file that you can insert. So, I use it a lot too with screenshots. So if I'm getting an error message, and I call whoever I need to call and say, I'm getting this error message, and they say, what does it look like? Chances are you're going to take a screenshot of it. Those will also be available in your recent file list. So really nice if you take a screenshot, you want to email it to somebody, you can start a new message, and then your insert file option is there for you. Microsoft Sway is a new product that you might not be familiar with. It's another presentation application, so it's similar to PowerPoint, but it's more collaborative from what I can tell. You can create files, and it's similar to OneNote, where you can drop in videos, picture, text, all sorts of source files into a Sway file, just like you could in OneNote. However, OneNote is more for just your purposes, although I know we can share files in OneNote and we can share notebooks in OneNote. But Sway is designed similarly to that, where you can drop in files, but with the intention of sharing that Sway file. And you'll notice, as I was doing some research and just sort of poking around the interwebs for information on Sway, a lot of Microsoft's presentations, whether they're training videos or whatever presentation, a lot of them now are in Sway format. So you may see that coming up instead of the typical slide format PowerPoint presentations that you were used to. They would be now in Sway format. And it's nice. You can use it in a web browser, smartphone, tablet app as well, just like the other Office products. So once you get started, at work on your desktop, if you think of something, once you get home, you can pull out your smartphone or your notebook and finish it there as well. So I just wanted to take a minute and show you some of the new features in a demonstration. So here, I'll just use the presentation that we were just going through to show you some of the version history options. So you'll notice that with my version history, when I go to my file menu here, I have the option for history. And if I select that, I can see all of the versions. Here as well, over on the right-hand side, there's a shortcut for my versions. So if I wanted to go back to when I first created the file, or I know that I created it maybe on the 6th, but I made a couple changes that I don't want, I could select one of these options. I don't want to do that now, but I wanted to show you the list of versions here, very similar to SharePoint if you have worked with SharePoint in the past. Let's see, the other thing that I wanted to show you was in Word, I wanted to show you the Tell Me option. So I've created a new blank document here in Word, and I want to go up and I want to, I don't know what I want to do. We'll pick the example from the PowerPoint presentation. So I want to insert a picture. So if I type in insert, I can select Insert Picture. And it actually brings me to the pictures directory, or the pictures folder on my computer. So I can choose which one I want to insert. And wow, I picked the biggest one I have, I think. So I can insert a picture there as well. Now the thing that I was mentioning is you have to know what you want to do. So I knew that I wanted to insert a picture. If I wanted to, let's say, add a photo. Oh, that was smart enough. So it did bring up Insert Picture. What if I wanted to say, put in logo? That wasn't quite close enough for Word to pick up what I wanted to do. So again, you have to be a little bit creative, and you have to know what the feature name is in Word or Excel that you're trying to look for. So that's the only thing, though. And it, like I said, it's fairly close. It'll pick up on some of the common ones. In Outlook, I wanted to show you the new features, or I'm sorry, the new feature of adding a new file. So if I'm typing up a new email, I've been working on this presentation and I want to send it to Bob so he can look at it. I can go to my attached file, just like I would when I attach any document. And instead of going to a specific folder to find my document, here I can select which one I want to attach right from my most recently used list. So here I'll say, oh, I want to insert whatever this last document was, or this last file. Now, if it wasn't one from my most recently used list, let's say that I want to dig up a file from a couple months ago, or one that just isn't in my recently used list, then I can go down all the way to the bottom and choose Attach File or Browse this PC. I'm sorry, I could go to Attach File and choose Browse Web or Browse this PC. So my web locations will show me all of my OneDrive and my SharePoint sites that I have access to. And then, of course, Browse this PC will take me to, obviously, my files and folders on my computer.
To piggyback on some of the stuff that Patty's talking about, there's really actually three layers of the updates to Office 2016. The first, and pretty much what we're focusing on here, are the updates to the application. These are the things that Office now does, whether it be shortcuts, additional features, recovery options. That's pretty much just integrated into the program. The second, as she talked about with some of the collaboration, are really the integration with Microsoft's other tools, most notably Office 365, and also with SharePoint and with OneDrive. And those are more of that seamless integration. And seamless integration usually you see in the web-based apps, but you don't necessarily see it with the on-premise, the actual product installed on your computer. So it's actually a significant enhancement there. And then the third is, and we're not going to get into this here, but we will at our field trip on the 28th, is the integration that these applications have with Windows 10. Especially if you take a look at some of the things that OneNote will do with both Windows 10 and some of the new devices specifically made for Windows 10, like the Surface, the new Surface 4. There's going to be a lot more seamless integration between the applications and the devices as far as looking to do the things that you want to do, which is unfortunately going to be for future topics. So, just to interject.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. I'm glad you did. That was actually the last feature that I wanted to demonstrate. I know I was just, as Bob was talking, I was just reading through the conversation messages in Skype, and there was some discussion of doing a session on real-time collaboration, which I love. I think that's a great idea. And I see a few folks thought that would be a good idea as well. So let's plan on doing that in the future weeks or months, and maybe it might not be a full half hour, but even if it's just a short video on real-time collaboration. So actually using Office 365 for some of those collaborative features that we talked about. I created a couple sample files here in Word, and then maybe we'll do this where Bob can get on the line as well, and we can show what it looks like when two people are editing a document, what it looks like when we're sharing a document, whether it be Word or Excel or whatever file. It's very similar across all the products. So yeah, let's definitely do that, and we'll look for that in the next month or two.
And one thing to add to that, and this is one of the issues that really annoys the jeebers out of me with Microsoft, is they'll give you this, here's all the things you can do, but they don't really well define and here's the reasons why it won't work. So if you have collaborators that a person has the desktop version of Office 2013 on Office 365, or they have Office but no 365, or they have the web, under what circumstance will collaboration work, under what circumstance won't it work? In a lot of cases, the devil's in the details, and that's what I think. One of the things that we'll try to define, and now that it's out, we can play with it more correctly.
Mm-hmm. All right, unless there are any other questions, and I don't see any in the chat window, we can wrap up here. I just wanted to remind you, next month, the Office webinar will talk about Word 2016 tips and tricks. There may be some tips and tricks that aren't specifically for 2016, maybe some things that I've used that you might find helpful over the years, but the focus on it will still be some of the new features of 2016, digging in a little bit deeper than what we did today in Word, and then, like I said, in future months and some of the other products. Okay. Again, thank you, everyone, and have a great afternoon.